Hello guys, hi, it's Heather, and thank you so much for being on the channel today, me and the Kiwi. So if you think you want to live tiny, here are my top 5 favorite books that I think every tiny dweller and dreamer must read now. So starting out at number 5 is a book by Leo Babauta called The Power of Less, and he uses a concept called MITs, which are the most important tasks. If you think you want to build a tiny house, well, you need to know how to pound a nail. You need to know how to screw a screw. He takes you from this big overwhelm to little manageable things that you can easily accomplish. It's very empowering, and I love that book. Number 4 is by Ryan Mitchell, and it's called Tiny House Living Ideas for Building and Living in Less Than 400 Square Feet. So you probably know about the tiny house movement, but you haven't really made the leap. This book is a book that will kind of help you decide if you want to make that leap. Coming in at number 3 is very similar to that as well. It's called Live Tiny and Be Free. It's by Jordan Liberata. And this is really the book that answers the big if question. If is the biggest 2-letter word in the world, but if tiny living is right for you. It will help you figure that out. And for that reason, I love the book. Number 2 is Jay Schaefer. Jay Schaefer is considered the godfather of the tiny movement. He has written a lot of books. This one is called The Small House Book. I love it because there's a ton of great information, philosophy, ideology. It gets into the down and dirty about why the tiny living movement is here and why it's so essential. He talks about, obviously, environmental concerns, our mortgage crisis, overdevelopment. It's a lot of really good information about the philosophy and ideology behind tiny house, wrapped in this fantastic story because he lives in tiny houses and has done it for like 15 years. He's amazing. The number 1 book for me is called A Built It Myself Memoir. It is by D. Williams. Love this book. When I read this book, I was so inspired. It inspires women. It will inspire people. You will read this book. It's well written, and you'll be like, yes, I can do this. I read this book, and it was like, yes. And I went and bought a schoolie and lived in a 19-foot school bus for a couple years. So this book is fantastic. Those are my top 5 picks. If I've missed one, or you have a book that maybe I should, read, please leave it in the comments below. I would love to hear that. And hit subscribe. And until next week, I will see you. Cheers.